there is, Lori, one thing that I really wish I would have done much sooner on, not only for my Amazon business, but for my software business, is hire staff. It's always you're always so scared because you're like, oh, this is an extra monthly payment that, that's going to come out of my pocket. But if you hire the right people early on, like, they're just going to scale your business for you. I mean, it's like the old adage that, like, while you're sleeping, you're making money. Somebody else is making you money. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, go listen to that book if you haven't. It's, absolutely changed our lives.
Mine too.
Because you need to realize that, like, you need to put your money to work for you, and you can't be afraid of money, and you can't be afraid to take risks. You can't be afraid. Every time you get afraid of something, that's a roadblock. Every time you put a new roadblock up, that's what's going to stop you from actually, doing something. Now, you're going to fail. You can't be afraid to fail. When we first started out, I think within the first couple of months, we got suspended from Amazon. And it was devastating. And then I think other people, if you've listened to my Awesomers, I did a podcast with Awesomers is the name of the podcast. It's another Amazon podcast, but I kind of tell my whole life story, which is hilarious. But I tell them that, like, we had a 7-figure app business. So with Google, 7 figures, like, I literally remember being down in Mexico at an all-inclusive resort, sitting next to the pool, getting drinks handed to me, and looking at my phone and seeing that, like, it's 10 a.m. You've made $4,000. I was just like, holy expletive. I mean, and then Google, and then fast forward like a year later or 2 years later, whenever it was, getting an email from Google saying, hey, we've closed your account. You've violated some policy. So I've gone now from making, this passive income that's coming in every day to zero. And so that sucked. And I was devastated. Don't get me wrong. But what we did was we rolled right back into Amazon. And it was one of those things, like Fernando was talking about, when you're forced to do something, when you put yourself on the edge, that's when you're going to start performing, because you have to. If you get yourself in this little warm, cozy, I've got lots of money to work with, or, I've got my full-time job. And so, I don't have to worry about that. I'm not saying you should quit your job. You should definitely make sure you've got a plan before you do that. All I'm saying is that, don't be afraid to take risks and to try things, because that's the only way you're going to be successful. You don't try anything, no risk, no reward. That's like the oldest saying in the book, but it's true.
Yeah. And like Lori said, hey, you mean physically go to China? And I said, yes, physically, because like Andy was talking about during our AliExpress thing that we were talking about, having somebody that can source from 1688. The bottom line is Alibaba is this narrow, tiny list of products, right? That is probably most of them are already saturated, right? If you go to Canton Fair, it's 217 football fields, 60,000 booths, and you're working directly with manufacturers, not some trading company that's going to up the price. So you're going to be able to source products that you don't even see on Alibaba, like things that so much out of so many different materials, you're working directly with the factories. You set the costs. Like, it's totally a different ballgame, So, and I know it seems scary to go to China, right? But it's not that expensive. You can get a plane ticket for like $600, I mean, I get it. It's scary. But there are so many, it's kind of like using product sourcing software, right? If everybody else is using it, and all the courses out there say, they tell you, go on Alibaba, get samples, source this product. Well, who else do you think's all going on Alibaba? All the other millions of sellers trying to start on Amazon. So you can do some things to set yourself apart. And if you can't physically go to China, you may be able to do kind of like Andy's done and hire some people that can help you out with that. It's just beware, because there are a lot of people ready to take advantage of you. Sourcing agents that are not good sourcing agents. And, every student in China is going to tell you they could be a sourcing agent for you because they've been taught that. But anyway, so just make sure that you learn first so that you can make informed business decisions. Kind of like Fernando said, hey, I'm going to hire the right coach, right? So that, and I'm going to make sure that I interview him with somebody who's smarter on it than me. So, definitely check the resources, but yeah, it's worth it 100%. I wish I had done it earlier.